Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather coming at you with another video. In this update, we're going to be talking about major Hurricane Iota that had explosive growth overnight and now 155 mile per hour near Category 5 hurricane. And then we also have another disturbance that's developing in the Caribbean. So before I do get started, if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel, as I will upload about 5 videos a week to keep you updated. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family that may be in the path of Iota. So we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. Here is the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center. It just updated as of 7 a.m. Eastern time, and it is now 155 mile per hour, right on the cusp of a borderline Category 5. Just one more mile per hour would make it a Category 5. It is moving west at 10 miles an hour, and we are literally approaching near landfall within about 18 hours. So this is a dangerous scenario that is setting up as we have a rapidly developing near Category 5 hurricane making a beeline towards the same areas that got impacted by Eta just 2 weeks ago. And there's not much to stop this thing. It's got near vertical shear to work with. So the only thing we can hope for is we have some sort of eyewall replacement cycle ahead to lessen this thing. But it is making a beeline, and it's expected to make landfall sometime overnight, Monday into Tuesday morning as a major Category 4, if not Category 5 hurricane, sending life-threatening storm surge. We're talking up to 12 to 18 feet now in that area. And this will approach Nicaragua and Honduras and get into the middle part and rapidly weakening as it makes landfall inland. And those heavier torrential rains will spread into Honduras and Nicaragua back on Wednesday. And this will quickly keep falling apart as it's making its way inland over El Salvador, getting into Guatemala, and then impacting Belize. So by Thursday, it'll be right over kind of a Belize, Guatemala area as just a tropical depression by then, if not a remnant low, but still with all that moisture around, dumping some very torrential heavy rains and flash flooding rains. And then we also have another disturbance, just basically just right on the heels of Iota, of a 20% chance of another disturbance in this same area that we've been seeing activity. And this has a capability of becoming what they call Tropical Storm Kepa, possibly in a couple of days. This will propagate west, potentially southwest. But more concerning is Iota, because this is a life-threatening event. This is now a 925 millibar hurricane. My last update, we were at 964, so that was been just incredible deepening overnight. We always talked about Sunday was going to be the inflection point from this storm, where it was going to be rapidly intensifying. Hurricane force winds have now extended out to 35 miles. So as this gets stronger, the hurricane force winds just extend out further, and then the tropical storm force winds extend all the way up to 150 miles. So don't get so concentrated on where the center will make landfall, because there's huge impacts well away from the center, and with life-threatening storm surge coming at 12 to 18 feet, and then on top of 20 inches of rainfall for this area that just got devastated by Eta. This is just a scenario that is just not good. Near the coast, surge will be accompanied by large and destructive waves. Catastrophic wind damage is expected within Iota's eye wall as it moves onshore. Hurricane warnings near Nicaragua and Honduras beginning late tonight, and you'll start getting tropical storm force conditions. The hurricane actually went over the eye wall, went over the island of Provincia earlier this morning, doing a lot of damage to that area. So this is a dangerous scenario that's playing out. Here's the incredible outflow with this storm. I mean, it's pretty much crystal clear on the satellite picture all around it, and you can clearly see where Iota is at. And if we zoom in, it's just an ominous sight. That is just a perfect hurricane deepening, and look at all the lightning strikes within the eye wall. So this is just not what you want to see. The eye wall is down to 10 miles in diameter, and as this eye wall starts to shrink, the winds actually would go up. So this still has 18 miles, 18 hours to, unfortunately, continue to strengthen as it approaches land. So we'll watch this very closely. The aircraft reconnaissance plane is trying to fly in there right now to give us the latest update, because this is just rapidly deepening, strengthening, very, very quick. I mean, here's the lightning strikes over the last just within a 1 minute time span. I stopped it at 83. So this is just incredible. And there was actually some hail reported in that, which is very unusual. So we were just getting a lot of lightning strikes right around the inner core, and that is just a true sign if this thing is still rapidly deepening hurricane. And this was just incredible too. I mean, overnight, there was at one point, it dropped 13 millibars within a 70-minute time span. That is just explosive deepening. Just gonna give you an idea, if you just have a normal, like, rapidly intensifying hurricane, this type of millibar drop would typically take about 15 to 17 hours on a rapidly intensifying hurricane. So to see this within a 70-minute time span, it's just unheard of. I mean, this is just a very deepening, rapiding storm, unfortunately, as it's approaching land. Now let's kind of take you back to Thursday. And I posted about this. This is when I first talked about this storm. It was a wave out by the U.S. Virgin Islands. This was concerning. When I talked about this, when I made the post about, hey, the Caribbean's ready to explode, this is what I saw. This was the data that we had to work with back on Thursday. The HMON model, which was the hurricane model that has proven itself time and time again, took it down all the way to a 908 millibar hurricane, and the guidance had that all the way back from the 12th overnight on the 13th of this potentially could happen if all the dynamics came to place, because the atmosphere was just very conducive for this to this happen to unfold, and this is exactly what happened. And here's the ship guidance from the 12th. This was on Thursday. This is what I posted on my Thursday video when this was just a tropical wave. It wasn't even a storm by then. The guidance told us from the beginning that this thing could potentially reach, if everything was perfect scenario, all the way up to 152 knots to 160. So that would be anywhere from 175 to 185 miles an hour. Not to say that it could get there, but the potential was there in the atmosphere. If all the dynamics came together in a perfect scenario, this could unfold, and we are literally within 20 miles from that, and it's still potentially strengthening as it's approaching land, unfortunately. So here's the latest hurricane models of the HWRF and the HMON. These are the ones I've been kind of using to track this storm, because they have proven themselves time and time again on intensity. And right now, they have it as a 926 and a 932. So this thing does not seem like it's going to be weakening anytime soon. And as it's approaching land, the latest update from these particular models are a 926 to a 932. So, I mean, we have a very dangerous storm that's approaching with the 12 to 18 foot storm surge for this area. So please take this. I urge you to take this very seriously, because this is a life-threatening event for this area, with just all the damage that just took place with Eta just 2 weeks ago. And just incredible that within a 14-mile radius, you're talking Eta. This is where Eta made landfall, just south. And this is why Iota is expected to make landfall. We're talking just 14 miles apart of two very destructive, powerful hurricanes making landfall just within 2 weeks apart. Obviously, this has never happened, especially in the middle of November. So this is just incredible that we're even talking about this right now. I mean, as it makes inland, it will rapidly weakening as it going over land, but this will just spread the heavier rains and the torrential flooding rains, catastrophic rains, all the way through the middle of Honduras and Nicaragua. So this whole area, that received about 20 to 30 inches in northern Honduras is expected to pick up another 20 inches on top. So we're talking, 50 inches of rain within a 2 weeks time span. That is just a lot of water to deal with. And then as this propagates westward into El Salvador, getting into Guatemala City, and then this is on Wednesday, the outer bands will start reaching Belize by then. So you'll have to deal with those torrential rains. But fortunately, it's just to be a tropical storm by then. It'll even weaken even further as we extend into Wednesday, but still dumping some very heavy rain for those areas. But by the time that reaches off the coast on Thursday, back behind it, unfortunately, we have another system that's potentially developing in right around that same area, because this is the same environment. It's pretty conducive for tropical storm development because we still have a lot of warm water and we got a lot of warm air over the United States. And this is causing the divergence to keep this storm season alive, and we have a lot of upward rising motion air in this area too. So this looks to be potentially another tropical system that's forming in the Caribbean just by Thursday into Friday, because here's the latest GFS model kind of shows on Friday that we could have potentially another tropical storm starting to develop, and this would be named Kappa by then. A lot of the guidance tries to take it back into that same area, but a little bit south. And most of the guidance has it pushing into Costa Rica by then with some very heavy rain. Here's the latest GFS model. Just by Thursday, we could have a developing low pressure, if not a tropical depression by then, right in that same area, just spreading more rain. So I don't think this is going to be able to intensify to that strong of a system because there's just so much energy taken out of the atmosphere with Iota but just any rainfall after this, they just would not need, and this would take a beeline back into southern Nicaragua, getting into Costa Rica with some very heavy rain just by Friday night into Saturday. So I'll be fine-tuning that event, but for right now, man, this is a very dangerous system that's developing, and it could continue to strengthen up until landfall. I appreciate you guys watching. Definitely like this video. Leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch me in the next video where I protect you before and after the storm.